Welcome to the Mills Knows Bills podcast. My name is Mills Bender. I'm the founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills, where we help you, variable income earners, master your money in 90 days. The point of this podcast is to help you make the most of your fluctuating income so you can stop living paycheck to paycheck, pay off your debt twice as fast, and get on track toward reaching both your personal and professional financial goals. Now, as I continue to grow my team here at MKB, you may have some guest hosts from time to time. However, our goal does not change. Whether we're bringing in a guest speaker, having an in-depth conversation about our personal finances, or talking about a topic that is of interest to you, our goal is to help you master your money. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mills Knows Bills podcast. It's been a while since I released some new content, and that's because we are subscribing to a new type of season here, where we're going to be dropping seasons every 9 weeks throughout this year, where you get to ask your burning financial question. I'm your host, as well as the founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills, Mills Bender, and to kick us off with this amazing series is my good friend, Dimitri. So Dimitri, thank you for joining us this morning. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do, maybe even where you're located?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I distribute dance shoes out of North Carolina. My job involves traveling to different states all over America, setting up trade shows, and selling them on the spot there.
Nice.
That's basically what I do.
I love it. How did you get into that?
Since I was born, I was always dreaming of becoming an aspiring shoe distributor. No.
I was about to say, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not yet, Dimitri.
Oh, I'm definitely being sarcastic. Nothing like that is ever intentional. It just kind of happened. I got a job at a store, saw an opportunity, saw a niche, and gave it a shot. And somehow, 10 years later, it worked out.
I love it. And so how long have you been running your own business? Has it been 10 years?
Yes.
Okay. And so as a business owner, what is your burning financial question you have for me this morning?
My burning financial question has to do with taxes collected at events during travel. What is the rule on that? Sometimes when I shop on Amazon, I get taxed for a product coming from Nebraska. Other times I do not get taxed for a product coming in from Hawaii or whatever. And I don't collect taxes when I travel because I don't have an entity set up at different states that I go to. And sales never really exceed more than $10,000. So I really had nobody to ever ask about it. So I thought maybe I'll ask here.
Sure. So as you know, I'm not a tax strategist or CPA, but I know enough to be dangerous. So let's see how much I can help you navigate this. But what my encouragement to you would be this morning is I would connect with a CPA, especially one who understands performing business over different state lines to help you really properly navigate this entire situation. If you need an introduction, I have quite a few in my back pocket that I would be happy to make you, introduced to. So as far as I'm aware with my CPA, because we've talked about this a lot, if you are performing a product-based business, anything that's tangible will need to have some type of sales tax collected. If it's service-based, like I do virtual courses, I do my coaching services, things like that, there's no sales tax involved in that type of transaction. So what I would encourage you to do is look up the sales tax rate in the state that you are going to, maybe even the city. Sometimes municipalities have their own tax rate as well. Estimate what you should be setting aside. And even if you're unsure how to file it, anytime you collect revenue in those states, set that money aside into a separate account that you own. High yield savings account, what I would suggest is either Relay Financial or QuickBooks Checking if you use QuickBooks for your bookkeeping services. You can earn somewhere between 1% to 5% yield on the money in that account. So start setting that money aside. Be conservative if you have to. I think 10% is a pretty conservative number for sales tax itself. And then while you're setting that money aside and still figuring out all the answers to these nitty-gritty questions for each state, like Nebraska versus Florida versus Georgia, that's where you get to have a conversation with your CPA and say, how do I navigate this? What's the best path forward so that way I can make sure that I'm paying those taxes and avoiding any penalties on that as well. Does that help you?
Yep, of course. Thank you. I'll look into it right away.
Okay. Do you have additional questions based off of that?
Yes, I am in North Carolina and I'm not very proactive with submitting my sales tax on a monthly basis. In fact, I think I'm at least a year behind. And
Okay.
I just don't want to do it, not because I don't have it. I just don't want to deal with the bureaucratic minutia of it. So I was wondering, how much trouble am I in by being lazy? What happens when a business consistently fails to submit their sales tax receipts to a state, even if they're small?
Sure. So I'm in Florida, and the way that Florida does it, and I'm sure North Carolina is similar, is they will just estimate your quarterly sales tax rate for you. So I had a client who was about 12 to 18 months behind on filing their sales tax in the state of Florida. And Florida just said, well, we're going to estimate that because you generated X amount of revenue when you did file your sales tax, that is what you should be paying moving forward. And so it was definitely in the state of Florida's favor, but what you can end up doing is logging into the website where you do file your sales and use tax. You let them know what your revenue was for each quarter, and then you can pay those taxes at that time, plus any penalties accrued.
Okay, I'll get right on it. Enough waiting already. This is my wake-up call.
It's honestly, I don't love the process of filing my sales and use tax, but it's not hard. It's just kind of time consuming. One thing that I do is set a calendar reminder for myself and then just go in, get it done. Now that I'm in the groove of it, even for my own business, it takes me 5 minutes.
Well, it's time for me to get going and be an adult, I suppose.
You can do it. And if you need any of those introductions to CPAs, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'm happy to make those introductions for you, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dimitri. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
If you stuck around long enough to get to this part of the podcast, I just want to say thank you. We really appreciate the fact that you take the time to listen to the content in its entirety, because we do pour our hearts and soul into every single piece of content we let out. So thank you for being here. I want to let you know that if you're in a space where you're trying to level up your finances, you can always snag some free resources on our YouTube channel, Instagram. You're always welcome to email us at info@millsknowsbills.com. And if you're interested in taking part of any of our coaching programs or courses, be sure to mention our podcast to get a special discount, okay? We want to make sure that you are making the most of your financial investment. Again, I am your host, Mills Bender, founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills. Thank you so much for listening. And just because I gotta, here's a quick little disclaimer. I want to remind you that this podcast is strictly discussion, okay? It's general, it's educational in nature. We don't provide any specific tax, investment, legal, or financial advice on this podcast with respect to any particular individual, okay? So if you're in a situation where you need specific help, please consult your own advisor regarding your unique situation, because it's not a one-size-fits-all.